Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're talking about when that body round kick comes in and you have the option between blocking it in whatever method you choose or catching it, again, in whatever method you choose. I see people have this tendency to go towards one style. They either solely block it or they catch it. And it's nice to be able to do both. And if you're struggling with one of these elements, I'm gonna break down today why that might be. So hopefully by the time you leave today, by the time we finish this video, you're gonna go, oh, I have a clear understanding on ways to block and what possible mistakes I might be making and ways to catch and what possible mistakes I might be making. First off, big shout out to XMartial for being a partner of this channel. They have some fantastic gear and just an amazing group of people who are touring across the States right now, giving away free gear, bringing aboard new amateur athletes to sponsor. I love these guys, and you just can't go wrong with their gear, whether it be Rash Guard shorts. You can save 10% with my promo code Gabriel Varga. Go and check out XMartial. Now let's continue our conversation on how to deal with body round kicks. The first thing that I want to touch on is going through a block. When we're blocking a round kick, it's very important that we don't get shifted. And this is an element that many people do incorrectly. The round kick comes, they go, okay, I blocked it, but as they block, their weight gets shifted. And it could be foot motion, that's a shift. It could also be your body getting knocked to the side. A massive element when you're doing this sort of Dutch style block, when you're coming across and you're just setting your weight down, a massive element is to drop your weight just a fraction downwards and lean slightly into the technique so that when you hit it, you're not going to get shifted away. Why do we do this? Because it provides you the opportunity to throw your counter shot. If you get the block off, but you get knocked off balance, and then you go to throw your counter and there's nothing there, you really lost the exchange. But if you're able to shift your weight and block it and then fire right back and hit them with the cross, even if it goes off their guard, it's kind of a neutral exchange. You blocked, they blocked. Even better, you block and you land, especially if you put together a good combo after. So a big element of this style of blocking is learning to set your weight just down and twist in a little bit. Remember, we want high impact off the front arm, so we minimize the impact off the back arm, because this is the one it's like a baseball bat. If you get battered here too many times, this arm will start to break down. So you want to minimize the impact there. Alternatively, we could catch the round kick. But a big element of catching a round kick that many people struggle with is going, oh, I caught it, but oh, that hurt. That really hurt. Or, you know, you get the wind knocked out of you, you get dropped. So what are we specifically doing to minimize the impact and to make this rib cage, this torso, like a brick wall, where you just don't care? And I have caught kicks in fights where I just stand here and go, boom, and that's it. Keep in mind that when you are going to catch round kicks, you might find it difficult catching depending on what style of guard you're holding. So if your hands are right here, it's going to be much likelier that you feel comfortable blocking like this. If you have a higher guard, like so, then it's much easier to come up and around because there's not that shift in having to do anything. Catching, I don't want to have to come all the way up, it's the hands already up. So getting this body strong. First thing, what are my options when the kick comes? If I'm just standing my ground, ideally we take a little step away as we catch to minimize the impact. But otherwise, what are we going to do? Well, we could lean and do this, but now that means you're taking the round kick right in the stomach. You could kind of lean away, now you're taking the round kick right in the back. Both those options are terrible. I like to just stand my ground. I don't shift anything, but I do flare my lat out. Kind of like that Bruce Lee lat flare. I find that that helps protect the rib cage. And then in addition, I kind of do that motion. And it's like all my muscles kind of get cramped in together, jammed up. I flex that lat out. And now from there, the impact feels so much less severe. So if my hands are already up, I see the round kick come, I do that little motion and then I grab it, even with a step, being ideal, do all of that together, no problem. Stand my ground, see the round kick come, boom, no problem. Do anything else where I kind of turn weird, or I just stand here and stay really high and straight and take it, then you're not gonna like that. So keep that in mind. That's an extra little bit of a point that you can add in to catching those round kicks. Remember, always squeeze once you've caught. Squeeze really tight, because again, you want to follow up on this person, but if they pull their leg out, if they just throw the round kick and your grip is really loose, they're just gonna yank it out. It's about you getting things really tight and then just taking them on a little walk, whether you step backwards or forwards or give them a little spin, just so that right away they're going, whoa, and they're having to adjust. Then your follow-up, whether it be a sweep or an attack, is going to be so much easier. Alternatively, when we come to blocking, we have this option, but we also have that option there, right? Just coming up and checking sort of Muay Thai style. One of the big questions that I get when people say, oh, okay, you want to block a round kick to the body, should my elbow go on the inside or the outside or right on top? Because you don't know if you've never been told before. When I went to Thailand, I had one gym that I was at for a long time, I think like probably about half my trip, and they kept telling me to do it one way. Then I went to a different gym, and within 5 weeks of training at one spot and drilling this in, the other gym told me an alternative. So what I realized is there's no black and white. Has to be inside, has to be outside. Naturally, what feels best is going to be good for you. When I'm here, off my lead, I come elbow on the outside. When I go the other side, I feel more comfortable elbow on the inside. There might be people who argue this, but it seems to work for me. We don't want to come straight up and connect elbow to knee, because eventually one time you're going to come a little too hard and you're going to catch right above the knee and it's going to hurt you. Once you get to that position, you're locked in, forearm really tight, leg really tight, flexed so it's not easy to move. You want this very tight, very restricted in its movement. Tricep, bicep squeezed, hamstring and quad squeezed. They connect together. Once you hit here, most likely you're going to come down and reply with your own round kick. The big element for me that I wanted to touch on was inside or outside. I feel like that's very important. The last thing that we're going to touch on today is catching the round kick from the outside. Because, and I think this is a really good alternative to catching this direction, because before we were talking about hands up and trapping and having that ability to leave an opening there, as opposed to here where you have to bring your arm up to get it. If you have this style and you generally like doing this, but you want to add in the occasional catch, this arm can stay right where it is, and instead of coming straight into blocking the kick, you can come under. I find these two flow really well together. Very easy to do. Whereas this style here, catching and checking, maybe those two go very nice together. You'll find your own preference, but that's what I like to do, depending on my style. I either combine those two or those two. So if I'm here, I like to make sure that this hand is not going to be too low. Because if I come for the round kick and it's just my fingers or just the lower part of the glove here, my whole head is open if they happen to come high. And I don't want to get round kicked in the head. So I like to keep the glove just a little higher. I like to compact my body again as I see the impact coming, so I can get that elbow a little lower to protect myself. I turn just a little bit so I get a little bit more distance on my grab. If I stay square and just try and do this, you obviously see I'm not going to get very far. So I do a little turn, the round kick lands, I hook it, I squeeze tight. Right from there, I'm not going to dilly-dally, I'm not going to hang out. I'm going to hollow my hips out and pull the leg through to the other side. Now from here, they've gone from this strong point to having their legs swept through and you being over here. And it's much harder for them to do anything effective. But if you hang out here for too long, they're going to get something going, whether it be starting to fire off this hand, grabbing your head and jumping forward, they're going to come up with something. So I catch the round kick, I hollow out, I pull it through. Then from there, I can take a split second and decide, do I want to come with a body shot? Do I want to hit them? Do I want to go for a sweep? Do I want to grab and pull and sweep them? There's so many options. It's so fun doing these catches and throws because it's a nice way to put your opponent down, to show dominance, but not necessarily hurt them. So there's a little breakdown of 4 possible ways to deal with the body round kicks. It's up to you to just test out your skill set. Go, oh, these ones feel better for me than these other ones. and then you will start to make some progress. And when body round kicks come, you will have your answer. Thanks for joining me, guys. As always, train hard. I will see you back here soon for another video.